What's up, softball players? I'm Coach Dan Blewett. In today's video, let's go over some in-season softball workout tips. So in-season strength training is really important. You have to keep your strength up. The season is so long, especially for softball, where you play a lot in the fall, where your in-season period, quote unquote, there's all my air quotes, it could be 6 months or even a little more, depending on some sort of elite travel teams. So you really can't afford to miss your workouts for all of your in-season, period of the year. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to take off during the season, just live in the off season." That's just not going to be good enough, especially when you consider that if you're playing that much softball, you're probably pretty serious about it, and you probably want to play at the collegiate level. So, in today's video, we'll give you a couple tips that are really important that maybe feel a little counterintuitive to you, but that can definitely help you get better workouts during the season while also being fresher and less fatigued and sore for your games. All right, so if you're new here, I'm Coach Dan Blewett. I do tons of softball workout videos, mindset, throwing mechanics, arm care, all that stuff. So if you're new here, definitely subscribe, stick around, because I've got lots of videos if you peruse around my channel. So in today's video, let's talk about in-season workout tips, and we'll jump right into it. The number one thing, or at least the first thing, is you want to pick exercises that are going to have less of a soreness factor to your workout. So I'll give you a great example of this. The Romanian deadlift, which is a great exercise for your hamstrings, for your glutes, for your lower back. It's a lot safer than the traditional, like from the floor barbell deadlift. The RDL is a great exercise, but in my programs, I typically relegate that more to the off season, because the fact is when you do an RDL, it tends to produce more soreness, causing your hamstrings to really stretch a lot in the eccentric, which is the lowering phase of the exercise. So when you lift the weight, so in a push-up, when you push yourself away, that's the concentric phase. When you lower yourself back down, that's the eccentric phase. So in the RDL, when you're lowering the bar back down your shins, that's the eccentric. That tends to cause a lot of soreness. Another exercise that does not cause much soreness is the barbell hip thrust. This one is a good example because it's got a strong concentric phase, but the glutes don't get as sore as the hamstrings tend to, even though they're great for maintaining strength and size and speed during the season. So with your workout program, you want to adjust some of the exercise choices. It could be RDLs, it could be reducing the amount of chin-ups that you do, reducing some of the deadlift varieties you do, reducing some of the one-leg things you do. So lunges cause a lot more soreness than even two-leg squats would. So I would do front squats more than I would do lunges during the season. Because again, you just don't want to have a great workout and then be cripplingly sore and stiff and not be able to move very well for your game. So having a strength coach or someone that can help you through those exercise choices is really important in figuring out what you can and can't do during your season. The next tip, and this is also a really big one, and this one seems counterintuitive because what most people want to do is they want to reduce the amount of weight they lift and do more reps, thinking that this is going to cause them to be fresher and not be as fatigued. They feel like the weight is the thing that fatigues them, which is actually the opposite. So if you're going to do, say you're doing squats with 100 pounds, let's just use that number, and you can do 100 pounds for 12 reps, that's going to make you more fatigued and sore because you just have a greater volume of work doing that 100 pounds for 12 reps than if you did, say, 150 pounds on the squat bar for 3 reps. Now, the big thing that we want to do during the season is maintain our strength and maintain our size. And the other thing that lifting heavier weights does, and you can lift a heavier weight when you do it for less reps, is that it forces more neuromuscular recruitment. And so that means it's going to stimulate more of your available muscle fibers to do the job. So if you max out at 200 pounds on the squat, and whenever you do 200 pounds, it's going to recruit pretty much all of your muscle fibers to do that squat because it's very heavy for you. If you're only doing 100 pounds when you can squat 200 as your max, your body doesn't have to recruit all of your muscle fibers and what's called motor units, which are sort of like a motor unit recruits many muscle fibers within a motor unit. So basically, your body's going to recruit less available muscle fiber, thus stimulate less of your muscles when you do less weight. So the goal here during the season is to do a higher percentage of your max, so maybe like 80 or 90%, which is pretty heavy, but do it for less reps than you normally would. So let me give you an example of that. If I could squat 200 pounds for 1 rep, and I could squat 180 pounds for 3 reps, I might do 150 pounds for 3 reps. So that way I'm doing 150 pounds, which is pretty heavy, but I could do it for maybe like 5 or 6 reps, but I'm only going to go do it for 3. So it's stimulating me in a strong way, getting my muscles that neuromuscular stimulation that's going to keep them from getting smaller. But it's not going to make me so tired because it's a true max, but it is going to keep my size and my strength up longer. I don't want to go into too much math, but that's generally how you do it. So if you took what you would do for 5 reps and then you did that for just 3 reps, that would be typically an appropriate weight for during the season. Because again, it's counterintuitive, but if you did 5 sets of 3 reps, it's going to make you a lot less fatigued than 3 sets of 12 reps. All right. The next one is you want to throttle up and throttle down and adjust your workouts in a given week into 3 different categories: light, medium, and heavy. And that might seem obvious, but most people don't do this on their programs. They just pretty much have one intensity for every single workout. But if you have a game tomorrow and you need to work out today, you'd want to do a lighter workout where it's just got maybe fewer exercises or less intense exercises. If you got like 2 or 3 days before your next game, you might do a medium workout, and then there's going to be a higher volume. There's going to be more exercise and maybe some harder ones. And then if you have 3 or 4 days for your next game, you might do a very heavy workout where you're getting all your heaviest, hardest lifts, and you're getting a little more volume because you have more days to recover. That's just an example of how you would do that. But typically, a 0 or 1 day's rest, you might do a light workout. 1 to 2 days rest, you'd probably do a medium intensity workout, and then more than 2 days rest, which is like 3 days or more, you'd probably do a heavy workout. But in a given week, you might do 1 heavy, 1 medium, and 1 light, depending on just the way it's structured. Because you might have a game on Wednesday, you might have a game on Friday, then you might have 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. It's can be very variable. So that's a really important part, is to throttle up and throttle down and adjust the intensity and volume of each workout so that it fits your week a little bit better. My next tip is that you want to what's called auto-regulate. And auto-regulation, it's a big word. It's actually really simple. It just means to listen to your body and adjust your max for that day. So say I could lift 200 pounds in the squat, all right? And that's like my max typically. But today, I just had 2 games on the weekend. I'm pretty tired. And as I'm building up, I'm like, 200 pounds seems impossible today. I could probably do 180 pounds. So auto-regulation would be, I am taking my max as 180 pounds rather than my max as 200, because 200 is kind of theoretical. It's like if it was perfect and I was really fresh, yeah, I could do 200. But today, which is today, I can only do 180. So my 1 rep max today is 180. So I'm going to build my workout around that 180 mark and build up in the squat, assuming that 180 is my max rather than assuming 200 is. Because you don't want to have this imaginary number that's not realistic if you're really tired or you're just starting to get a little beaten down over the course of the season. This is what all the best Olympic lifters and power lifters do. They don't always rigidly stay on, no, I can do 1 rep, or no, I could do this for 3 reps, therefore I'm going to do it. That's how you get yourself hurt. You need to listen to your body and throttle up and throttle down and say, okay, yeah, I could usually do 100 pounds on the bench press, but like today, I'm a little worn out. I can only do 85. So therefore my 5 rep or my 8 rep is going to be, 125, or I don't know what number I just used, but you get it. That's the point. So it's taking your max and then all the other lower numbers below it and basing it off that max that really is about how you feel today. My last tip is just simply to not stop lifting heavy. So when you're lifting in the off season, it's easy to like work really hard, have hard workouts, and try to push heavier and heavier weights. And a lot of times players get in this mindset during the season where they just want to back off and they just want to be fresh all the time. But if you're always obsessed about being fresh when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, you're going to miss too many workouts and you're going to give too many workouts away and give too much intensity and volume away, where by the time you're 16, 17, you're just not going to be as big and strong as you would have been if you'd pushed a little bit harder when you were younger. At the end of the day, being perfectly fresh for your games at 13, 14, 15, and even to 16 years old doesn't matter that much. If you work a little bit harder in the gym and you're just like slightly tired, you've lost a little bit of a step for your game, it's probably better for you in the long term than always being like perfectly fresh and having really sort of, half intensity workouts throughout your whole in-season period, which could be, again, 6 or more months out of the year, which is a lot. So you can't give away all of your workouts trying to be perfectly fresh and never be fatigued for any of your games. I think there's always a little bit that you should give away. I did this throughout my baseball career. All the softball and baseball players, if they just weren't big and strong and physical enough to be recruited today, we continue to push a little harder because, all right, let's get you recruitable first. Then we'll worry about having you fresh then, right? I think that makes more sense. Again, it's not to say you're beaten down and exhausted, because we definitely don't want that either. But that little bit where you could push a little bit harder and over a long period of time, that makes a big difference. That's probably what most of you should be doing if you're not there yet, where your body isn't physically developed strength wise and size wise to say, I'm ready to be recruited to be a college softball player. All right. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions about workouts, leave them in the description below. Check out the description links for my online strength training program called Early Work. It's built for softball players. So if you need a new program, we've got you covered. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you here in the next video.